Welcome to the Michael Singer Podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jai Masters. The major problem that a human being has in life is that there is a force that's very, very powerful that draws their consciousness down instead of permitting it to rise and take its true seat in love, joy, light, God, awareness, call it whatever you want. It's not your fault. It's really nothing you did. It's just the reality of the situation, that there are forces that distract your consciousness, that draw your consciousness down to them, such as fear, such as insecurity, such as self-consciousness, such as embarrassment, all this kind of stuff. They're very powerful. And they're real. They're not the devil. I don't like that people talk like that. That's ridiculous. They're just lower vibration energies. God is everything. Every vibration from alpha to omega. So there are low vibrations and there are high vibrations. And the low vibrations are very strong. They're very strong. They're noisy. They're loud. Higher vibrations are more subtle, much more subtle. So you have to be quieter in order to experience them. But the lower vibrations are loud, that's all. So don't call it evil, don't call it terrible. It's just vibration. Just like the electromagnetic spectrum has very long waves and infrared high frequency waves. They're not bad or good. They're just different vibration rates of energy. That's what this universe is. Different vibration rates of energy. I love that the physicists, my God, today your physicists are your preachers. They are teaching you the greatest things. They have gotten down to the point where, no, there's not molecules. No, there's not atoms. No, there's not electrons, neutrons, or protons. There's nothing. There's just vibrations of energy. That is literally what they've gotten down to. There's this quantum field, and things disturb the quantum field. And basically it causes wavelets. And those are vibrations, and they're vibrations of different rates. And so those act like particles. There are no particles. I just love it. There are no particles. Not even quarks, leptons, and bosons. The subatomic, quote, particles, right? There's just wavelets. Like if a lake was completely still and then you irritated it, aggravated it, you stimulated it, dropped something into it, all of a sudden there's wavelets. They're not any different than the still water. It's the same water, just like steam and water and ice are the same thing, just vibrating at different rates. So this whole world is just vibration rates. And that's what the yogis taught so long ago, thousands of years ago, before anybody had instruments that science could get down to. They experienced this within themselves. So that's what's going on. It's not good or bad or right or wrong or evil or nothing. It's just everything. How's that? It's everything. Everything is everything. And that's what exists in the universe, everything. Right? Goes on for all eternity, and it's that tiny microcosm and macrocosm. It's just absolutely unbelievable. But it's all vibration rates of energy. Well, lower vibration rates of energy are noisier. They're gross. Not gross meaning disgusting, but they're grosser. It's a grosser vibration rate of energy. And the real subtle vibrations, not to mention the highest vibrations, are very, very subtle, very, very quiet, very still. But it's out of those higher vibrations that as something slows down those higher vibrations, it creates the lower vibrations. That's all. Scientists can change the electromagnetic spectrum from one vibration to the other with machinery and with different things. You can shift them back and forth. So all of creation is God. It's so funny. The highest vibration? No vibration. That's the unmanifest. You hear the words, the non-dual. You hear me? Brahma is unmanifest. It's just there. It's still. It's just pure conscious awareness as the lake is completely still. And then its vibrations slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, until you get to these grosser planes. So basically, it's not your fault that there are these lower vibration rates of energy. I listed them: fear, et cetera, et cetera. Fear is a very good one, but because you get very distracted by fear, don't you? Not just a lion jumping at you. I'm afraid people don't like me. I'm afraid I said something stupid. I'm afraid I did something wrong. I'm afraid that someday I'll do something wrong. That's a good one. And you have fear, do you not? And it distracts you. So let's say love is a higher vibration rate than certainly fear. It's one of the higher human vibration rates. You know that. It's subtle, it's nice. Feel some love, and then have somebody who you love do the slightest thing, especially during intimate moments of hugging and kissing, the slightest thing, like burp. And you're going to find the love go away. I told you. Sit there and just go, oh my God, I love you so much. My God, I can't handle it. Yeah, I love you too. Oh my God. He said he loved you. But he didn't say it right, did he? And I guarantee you don't feel love after that happens, do you? See? It's very easy for the lower vibrations to bring the higher vibrations down. They're very distracting. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that if you, let's say you perform in a crowd and everybody's clapping except one person's booing, that's who you hear. The lower vibrations of energy are very strong. They're very gross, and they draw consciousness down to them. That is what's happening in your life there. But you have to have a universal view of that. You have to understand that's not who you are. That is what you're experiencing. You're experiencing a low vibration of energy that has drawn your consciousness down into it. What is depression? A very, very, very low vibration of energy that is very strong, and your consciousness gets drawn down into it until you don't say, oh, excuse me, doctor, I'm experiencing depression. You say, I am depressed. The verb I am is a very sacred verb in our language. You're defining who you are. You just said you are what you're experiencing. But guess what? I'll teach you that as long as much as you want, and you have trouble not doing it. When you get down, instead of saying, I'm experiencing down energy, you say, I am depressed. I am down. I am hurt. Well, you use the word I am in the English language to define who you are. That's very funny, because that's not who you are. That's what you're experiencing. But it's so strong that it pulls your sense of self down into it. And then you say, that's what I am. So spirituality, we're going to have a deep talk, is not about getting rid of the lower vibrations. You made me cry just to say that. You will never get rid of the lower vibrations. They're reality. They exist. Your game is not get rid of them and make them not be there. That's ridiculous. That's like standing up against God, standing up against reality. They are there. There are low vibrations. The question is, do you have to get sucked into them? Do you have to get distracted by them? Like I gave that example where you're feeling love. Well, that's beautiful. I would love for you to feel love. Why do you stop feeling love? I thought you liked love. So you feel love, but then you give it away. If somebody does what you don't expect, somebody doesn't call when you expect them to, somebody forgets an anniversary, somebody doesn't wear what you expect them to wear when they pick you up, my God, you give it away for nothing. Somebody wears their hair different than they did before. You don't like it. You don't feel love. You give love away all the time. It is so much easier to not feel love than to feel love, isn't it? This is what spirituality is about, is stepping back and realizing what's really going on. What's really going on is I'm a conscious being. How do you know? You didn't hear me if you weren't in there. You're in there. You know you're in there. I don't have to prove it to you. The question is, what are you doing in there? And the answer is very straightforward. I'm getting distracted by the lower vibrations. And you are. Well, I try not to. Very good. That means you are, but you're trying not to. I try to find something. I try to go to a movie. You say that's entertaining. No, that distracts me from myself. If I sit in that movie and all that's going on is me, what I forgot, what I think, who likes me, who doesn't, that's a very bad movie, and you give it very low ratings. It doesn't even get 1 star. It was the most boring thing in the world. It was I got left with me. I watched the whole stupid movie. I wasted my money. But if that movie is distracting and it distracts your consciousness, it's so exciting and so loud and so whatever, that all of a sudden 2 hours go by, you say, that was a great movie, don't you? I want to see it again. It's all a question of what you in there are doing. And what you are doing is getting distracted by the lower vibrations. I don't care how you think of yourself, all right? Well, wait, somebody says, no, I've learned to do positive thinking. Why? Because if I don't, it's pretty negative. And believe me, we're going to talk about positive thinking. It's a wonderful thing to do. But understand, if you were not being pulled down by the lower vibrations, you would not have to do anything. You'd be there. But you are being pulled down by the lower vibrations. So this is the beginning of real spiritual growth. You admit what's going on. I'm in here, I'm conscious, and I'm aware of things. What things? Generally the lower vibration things. I'm being pulled down by fear and insecurity and self-consciousness and like and dislike and just all this noise that's going on inside. My consciousness is being pulled down into that. Do you get distracted by fear? Do you get distracted by insecurity? Do you get distracted by ego? Do you get distracted by this stuff? You wouldn't be here if you had not reached the stage of evolution that says, I don't want to be distracted by this. I don't want ego to run my life. I don't want fear to run my life. I don't want insecurity to run my life. I don't have to prove myself to everybody and be afraid that they won't like me. Do you want to do that? Okay? I don't want to be afraid of getting old. I don't want to be afraid of dying. I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to devote my life to the lowest vibration rates inside of me. Okay? Well, what else would you be doing? Trying not to feel that. And that's what we're going to talk about. Do you have to feel that? No. But you said it exists. That doesn't mean it has to distract me. All kinds of things exist, don't they? That doesn't mean my consciousness has to be drawn down to them. I have to live with them, get into them. That's what they teach you. Then they're not wrong. I make sure if I teach you high teachings, it doesn't mean that the teachings in between are not true also. Some psychologists and therapists will teach you, get into your feelings, get into it. If you feel fear, just get into it, all right? Yoga doesn't teach that. Doesn't mean it's not true. In other words, those levels, if you're going to suppress the lower energies, which is what you try to do, you don't have to use Freud's words. What you try to do is push them away. I don't want to feel fear, do you? So what do? You try to push it away. I don't want to feel insecurity. You push it away. I want to feel self-conscious. You try to push it away. That's one thing you can do with it. That's not a healthy thing to do with it because it's going to stay inside of you and it's going to keep trying to come back up. You don't get rid of it by pushing it away. I always use the example of a neighbor has dogs and I'm afraid of dogs. And the neighbor's calling the dogs. And the dogs are on the other side of me. The neighbor's behind me. The dogs in front of me. So the dogs are trying to come home. But I'm afraid of dogs. And so the dogs come running and they throw sticks at them and yell at them. And they do everything. Get away, get away, get away. Guess what? They're going to stay there. I'm going to have to do that for the rest of my life. If I cannot handle those dogs running by me, then I am going to have to live a life of avoiding the dogs. That's what you're doing when you suppress. You're sitting here saying, I can't handle fear, I can't handle insecurity, I can't feel rejection, I can't handle any of these lower vibrations. So I push them away and they keep trying to come back out, don't they? In your dreams and somebody says something, it's hard to get rid of that stuff. Try all you want, be positive. I'm trying so hard to be positive, and then this person is negative and I can't handle it. People say that to me. I want to get away from all negative people. Why? Because it stimulates the negativity inside of me, and I can't handle what's inside of me, so I can't handle what's inside of you. That's not spirituality, but it is a stage of spirituality. If you're lost in negativity, you may have to get away from people that are causing that to come up in you. In the end, you don't. In the end, you can handle all vibrations that exist, and they don't distract you or pull you down. They're just there, but we'll get there. Right now, the reality is you are conscious, and what you're conscious of is there are lower vibrations inside of you, and you cannot handle them. You have difficulty handling them, so you don't want them to exist. So you try to get rid of them. And the way to get rid of them is to push them away. And now you have all of psychology. Your entire psyche, everyone's entire psyche is built on that action. The fact that these vibrations exist, they do exist. The vibrations exist. And the fact that you're conscious, okay, there's a problem. They exist. I'm conscious. I can't handle them. So what do? I push them away. So you built inside of you this storehouse of negativity, this storehouse of fear and insecurity and embarrassment. You keep pushing it away. When you push it away, that's what's inside of you. And it keeps trying to come back up. And you keep trying to stay away from it. Right now, we'll get a little more interesting. First, you push it away. So there it is. Now what do? Well, it keeps trying to come back up. what I need to do. I need to find a job that stimulates me and is interesting and I feel inspired, so that every time I go to work, as I go into a movie, I get distracted by work that I'm doing. I love it so much. It's so beautiful. Or I need to find a relationship that's so special that every time I see this person, I forget myself and I don't ever feel, and I trust them completely. What does that mean? They won't hurt me. I don't have to be afraid of them because I trust them. You hear me? That's wonderful, isn't it? Right? But notice what's happening. I have this stuff inside of me, and I'm trying to find things outside that will distract me from myself sufficiently to where I feel better. Because now I'm paying attention to you, paying attention to the children, paying attention to the job, I'm paying attention to the movie, whatever it is. Are you hearing me? So what's happening is you built this storehouse of stuff because you can't handle it, and then you try to live your entire life to try to get around that, to try to avoid that, to not have to deal with that. Who are your friends? The people that don't make me feel that. Who are your enemies? If I don't like him, I feel terrible around him. He scares me. He reminds me of my father. I hated my father. That's the psyche. That's the ego. That's the self-concept. I built a concept of myself inside of how to get around this garbage that's in there. It's all built upon the subconscious. It's all built upon the stuff that you stored in there. And that's what we've done. We've had lots and lots of situations in our lives that hurt us, that didn't feel good, that were low vibrations of energy. Right or wrong? No, you never had such things. The truth is you have them every single day, something bothers you. Every single day, every single hour, something bothers you. Either a thought or what somebody said, what somebody didn't say, or something you read in the paper. All the time, something bothers you. That's because you can't handle low vibrations, so you stored them inside of you. Now, anything that stimulates them, you're bothered. And so you spend your entire life trying not to be bothered. How about if I say that? You're trying not to be bothered. You're trying to be okay. You're trying to feel happy. That sounds so spiritual. I used to try to get money. Now I'm trying to be happy. No, the question is, why are you not happy? Why are you so immersed in the lower vibration rates of energy that you need to devote your life to distracting yourself from yourself? So basically, here we are. We're in here. We're building a model of your humanness. We're in here. That's not human. That's divine. That's consciousness. It's something very, very special. But it is distracted by the loudest thing that's going on. And the loudest thing that's going on are the lower vibrations of energy. You push them away. Therefore, you build them up inside of you. That's the truth. That's all is Freud, all is psychology. That is spirituality also. If you bother storing every single thing that ever disturbed you inside of you, what's it going to be like inside? Disturbed. And don't tell me you have not done that. All the way back from your child. They tell you what mommy did, what daddy did, what this happened, what Uncle George did, what so-and-so. They're telling you your entire life you have kept the junk inside of you that bothered you because you couldn't handle it, and it's still there. Do you think the psychologists say that what happened, your parents got divorced when you were 5, you didn't like your stepfather, you're now 55 years old. Is it still affecting you? Yes or no? What is therapy? I'll get past the garbage down to what's still in there. Why is it in there? Because you put it in there. I didn't make them get divorced. No, but you couldn't handle them getting divorced. Therefore, you suppress. That's Freud's word. I like to say resist. Resistance is a much better word because suppression is a psychological problem. Denial, suppression, repression. Oh, go study psychology. All right. Resistance, that's yoga. Do you or do you not resist anything in there? You're a resistance machine. You said you can't even handle your own thoughts. You can't handle your own feelings. You can't handle anybody. And you just resist. Do you not try to manipulate everything around you so you feel better inside? Everything at work, at home, with the children, with them, so you feel better inside about what's going on. Okay, that's because it's a mess inside and I can't handle myself. Forget that I can't handle you. I can't handle me. I can't handle it when it comes in because it hits my stuff. So I have to control it before it comes in. Don't talk to me like that. You know I don't like when you talk like that. You'll sleep on the couch for 3 weeks. I am going to manipulate you and everything else around so that when it comes in, it feels better, rather than when it comes in, it feels bad. There's no win in that. You stored this garbage inside. Now you have to protect yourself from yourself. There. Is that not the human predicament? Okay. So that's the starting point of understanding why you need spiritual growth, why spiritual growth is the answer. Because it is not I always end up here and you don't like it. The answer is not getting what you want. Because getting what you want means I'm not okay. Therefore, I want things to be a certain way so I can be okay. Therefore, I need to manipulate and control all my politics, all my likes and dislikes and opinions and preferences and hopes and dreams. What are those? What I want the outside to be like so that when it comes in, I feel better. There's not one of you that has a hope or a dream that it will be really bad outside so you feel like crap when it comes in. Your dreams and your hopes are, I have this garbage inside. I can't handle it. I hope someday there will be a world that I can live in that makes me feel better about myself. And since everybody has different garbage inside, do you understand that? One of the deepest things psychology teaches, they teach man, woman also, man is the sum of his learned experiences. Ever heard that? Man is the sum of learned experiences. They're right. That's what's in there. The experiences you couldn't handle, you shoved down there. The experience that you liked, you clung to and wanted them to happen again. That's called positive and negative samskaras. The reality of the fact is, if you have an experience that you really like, you're a mess because you want it to happen again. Go meet somebody that turns you on. Never see them again. How you like that? Go someplace on a vacation that's just so perfect. Oh my God, it was like divine God's intervention, right? And never get to go there again. See what happens. See? Even the positive things screw you up. Why? Because you cling to them. That's the Buddhist term, clinging. You cling to them. You resist what you don't like. You cling to what you do like. And then that's what's stored in there is some of your learned experiences. And what happens under those conditions, you're in trouble. So you're now in a situation where you need to manipulate life so it doesn't disturb you or that it turns you on because you get what you want. So you're in there wanting and not wanting, and you think that's the right life. And you're taught that. You're taught, get out there and get what you want. Yoga does not teach that under any conditions ever. The question is, why are you such a mess that you can't handle reality? That's the question. That's a different question than how do I manipulate reality so I can handle it. How different? Really, really different. Leads to a totally, totally different life. And the life of spirituality is never about getting what you want. So this whole thing about I want to attract to myself what I want, I get strong enough and do mantras, and so I can get what I want, is better than not being okay. But you're going to have to struggle with it forever. You have to keep it. What if you get what you want and you lose it? How you feeling? Twice as bad than if you ever got it. Okay? Life is not about getting what you want and avoiding what you don't want. Life is about, why can't I handle reality? If I did a retreat with you, which I never do, I'd make you say that. Why can't I handle reality? That's why I teach you the way I do. I've dropped onto a tiny, tiny, tiny little planet in the middle of nowheres, circling a star that 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. People say to me, why do you keep saying that? I wish you would listen. What do you care about one part of 1.3 million things? Oh my God, you couldn't even pick one out. And that's what your Earth is. 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. And how many suns are there in your galaxy? 300 billion. And you can't handle what is going on for a few years on this little tiny piece of dirt? That's reality. That's why do I speak to you that way? That's expanding or at least ceasing to contract your consciousness to only be aware of what bothers you. It allows it to be reality. That's reality, by the way. There's 300 billion suns, stars in your galaxy, and there's 2 trillion galaxies. And you care about what somebody just said. You allowed your consciousness, which just right now is capable of expanding, opening, to handle reality, to handle the galaxies, to handle the universe, to handle God. It's just a bigger thought than what do I like and what did you say to me and why did you say that? Oh, it's so small. It's so, I don't know how to talk about it. I hope it's not embarrassing you if I talk about you. You should laugh. Is it not true that that's what you do? So somehow this expanded consciousness, this great being that can recognize what it means, 300 billion stars in a galaxy, wow, right? And I've taught you before, that's not even enough. Will you let me for one moment say, okay, here's your sun. It's 93 million miles away. How far is Miami? 360. I think the circumference of the Earth is like 25,000 miles. 93 million miles away. Wow. And I tell you, and you complain about its heat. You shouldn't complain about its heat. Are you crazy? You say, I'm so close to a star that I feel its heat. It's one of those little twinkly things out there in the sky, isn't it? At night you look at them. This is one of those, but you're close enough to it to feel its heat. Wow. And all you do is complain. You see what I'm saying? It pulls it down to this tiny little bit and hat. No, you're next to a star. And I can't help myself. There's 300 billion stars in your galaxy. Where's the next closest star? Are you ready? It's 4.3 light years away. What's 4.3 light years away? It means if I took a beam of light and I held it above the planet Earth, you got it? And I let it go for 1 second, it would circumnavigate the globe for 7.5 times. Is that fast enough for you? 1 second, 7 times. Go that speed every second for 4.3 years, and you will reach the next star. And you're worrying about what? You're complaining about what? You're afraid of what? That's the next star. They're all that far apart. And there's 300 billion. This is what you should be doing with your mind. Not, does he like me? Why did he do that? Oh my God, did I wear the right thing? I dropped some ketchup on my pants. And I have to go back to work? What are you doing with your mind? You're letting the lowest vibration rates distract your consciousness. Isn't that an example of that? You're sitting in the middle of nowheres, and there's what is ketchup? In fact, there's no ketchup on Mars, all right? And you're literally afraid to go to work with the mark on your pants. Or so you open the door and put a little dent, a little scratch on your car. You okay? No. Now do that, and then remember what I just said about the star and the next star. Just because we're here, we said there's 2 trillion galaxies. So the Milky Way is your galaxy. There's 300 billion stars. Where's the next galaxy? Andromeda. The next major galaxy, Andromeda. How far away is it? How about 2.5 million light years away? Go at that speed every second for 2.5 million years, and you'll get to the next galaxy, and there's 2 trillion galaxies. Will you please look at that, called reality, compare that level of thought, of expansiveness of consciousness, to what you do with your mind all day. Big difference. Guess what? There's no suffering out there. There's suffering in here because you allow your consciousness to be drawn down to these tiny little things. So spirituality is about learning, not claiming, learning to not do that. To not do what? To not allow your consciousness to get distracted by this nothing, the lowest vibration in the universe, fear, insecurity, ego, and then build a model. Oh, I don't like it, therefore what I want is this to happen. And next thing you know, you're chasing nothing. You're like a hamster running around as fast as you can in a little wheel. You're not going anywhere. Why? Sometimes you've gotten things that you like, haven't you? Don't tell me you haven't. Sometimes it unfolds in the way you like it. How long does that last? When was the last time you got what you wanted and never wanted anything else? You can't win. You can't run away from yourself. And you can't run away from reality, ever. So, okay, we've admitted there's these lower vibration rates. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. The radio wave is, I think, the lowest vibration in the electromagnetic spectrum. We did very good with that. We use radios. We communicate. The far out probes use radio, the longest vibrations to communicate, right? You can do stuff with stuff, but not if you're afraid of it. Not if you don't bother. You can't handle it. I don't like gravity. I don't like gravity. I don't like being stuck in the earth. I don't like gravity. Well, guess what? If you don't study gravity, you ain't going to fly anywhere. Are you? Everything has its place. Everything has its dharma. Everything has its nature. And you can learn to be able to be comfortable with every single bit of reality. There, now we're going to jump to a whole nother level of discussion. I just said that to you. You can learn to be comfortable, not get rid of, learn to be comfortable with every single vibration in reality. If I'm comfortable with it, I don't get distracted by it. It's like these vibration rates of creation, you are capable, the consciousness, your consciousness, and every one of your consciousness is capable of experiencing every vibration there is in creation and not getting so distracted by it that you have to fight it or grab it or do something. It's just reality. You are capable of going out to San Francisco Bay and watching the ocean. No, I don't like it when the waves are too big. No, I thought there would be big waves. No, I wanted to see the seals and the whales. You can do that to yourself if you want, or you can stand there and enjoy watching reality. That's what we're talking about. Spirituality is not a particular vibration. It's sitting there saying, my consciousness is evolved enough. It's not being distracted by these different energies. It's able to stay it's called seated in the seat of self, being established in the seat of self. All right, who are you? Consciousness. Not somebody's husband, not somebody's wife, not somebody old, not somebody young. No, I am awareness of being. That's who you are. And then I'm aware of all these different things. But I don't define myself as them. I am love, I am light, I'm spirit descended. You sang that. My consciousness descends down, but it doesn't get stuck there. You can be in the world, but not of it. That's what they talk about, head in the clouds and feet on the ground. It's not that you don't interact with life. You are capable of interacting with all of life. I got a job, I love it. I got fired. Which one do you like better? Neither. They were both amazing experiences. I grew from both of them. When I had the job that I liked, it stimulated me. I saw how high I could be. And then when I got fired, I saw how these lower energies can draw all my energy down, but I didn't let them. So I grew from that, all right? If you're learning to play tennis and you hit the ball into the net, that's a good thing, because now you will learn how to hold your wrist. Now you will learn how to do a swing. You learn from every single thing that happens. There's nothing bad or good. It's just an experience to learn from. That's what all of creation is. An enlightened being, it's not that they're somewhere so far away. It's that they're seated in the seat of consciousness, and it doesn't come down because they experience reality. It's not that they don't experience reality. They're capable of experiencing reality. I told you the Gita, which is about as deep as any ever written in terms of deep spirituality, is a part of the Gita. Or Arjuna, Krishna's spiritual son, asks him, you said there are very high beings, enlightened beings. How will I know one? How would I know an enlightened being if I met him? Sits he, walks he, talks like any other man? Please tell me. And Krishna says, Krishna's God talking. He says, he walks, he talks just like any other man. He doesn't levitate when he sits down. He's just like any other man. That's not how you know him. If you want to know him, in joys he's not overjoyed, in sorrows not oversorrowed. He lets goodness come when it will, and when it will depart. And he lets darkness come when it will, and it will depart. Just as all the rivers and streams of the earth pour into the ocean, and the ocean doesn't overflow its bounds, so the world of sense pours into the yogi and leaves him as it found him, at peace, serene, content. Equanimity is yoga. That's about as deep as it comes. And that, by the way, is every religion. Christ taught the same thing. And the Tibetans teach the same thing, and Judaism is the same. It's all the same thing. You are a great being that is capable of handling what is going on. Now what do? Serve. I'll get to the end right now. If I can handle everything that's going on, what am I going to do here? Well, you don't need anything. If I don't need anything, why would I do anything? Because you're made of love and compassion and wholeness. And every interaction you do is not about you. It's about how can I help the energy, raise the energy that's taking place in front of me? How can I serve? So what is St. Francis's prayer? Where there's sadness, let me bring joy. Whoa, energy levels, can you bring it up? Not resist it, not hate it, not judge it. Can I raise whatever energy is passing before me? Where there's sickness, may I bring health. All the teachings are the same, aren't they? Okay? But you can't live those if you can't handle what is going on inside of you. If you can't handle reality, I told you what you need to do. You need to fight. You need to struggle. You need to manipulate or hide. You need to do something to protect yourself from the fact that I can't handle it. So spirituality, we'll get there now. Spirituality is the entire process of learning to handle reality. Until you can handle reality, you're in trouble. Any part of reality. But what if there's evil? Christ said, it is said unto you an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but I say unto you, resist not evil. Why? Because when you resist evil, it's like stopping the dogs. It stays in front of you. And what was taught to you is resist not evil. What does that mean? It passes by. Don't do that. Stay high. Stay clear. Bring higher energy in. Okay? So now the question becomes, can I do that? It's nice to talk about because I'm pretty far away from that, from being able to handle anything. There's all kinds of stuff I can't handle. Well, the true teachings of yoga, the true teachings of deep spirituality is how to learn. Not that you can or feel guilty because you can't. Learn. You learn just like you learn to play the piano. You learn to play tennis. You learn a sport. You learn things. The highest thing you can learn is how to handle reality. Why? Because if you can handle reality, you don't have to fight it. You don't have to do anything. Okay, fine. Here's different vibration rates. Now, what can I do to help? That's who you become. Your whole being is, what can I do to help? It's not even like you think you're helping. There's nothing left in you other than giving, other than compassion, other than raising the energies as they pass before you, period. Now, how do you do that? I teach it. You don't start with the big things. I can't handle, my mother died and I tried to get over there and I couldn't, the plane was late and I felt guilty ever since. It was 20 years later. I can't even think about her because okay, that's very hard for you to handle. I understand that. Someday you'll handle it. We need to be able to handle it. Why? Because it happened. What's the alternative to handling it? Not being able to handle it. Which one you want? Because if you can't handle it, it's going to bother you forever. So how do you learn to handle it? You start with tiny little things you're not bothering to pay attention to. I can't handle how hot it is. I already did that, so I could do that. I can't handle the heat. I can't handle it. Well, then you're in trouble. If you can't handle what is, you're in trouble. Understand that. It doesn't mean what is wrong. It means you can't handle it. You have to look at it differently. Reality can't be wrong. Reality can't be wrong. Why? Because it's reality. And there's not a thing you can do about it. In the new book, Living Untethered, I defined reality. Ready? It only took one sentence. How do you define reality in one sentence? That which already happened. It's never going to not happen. Not what should happen. Not what's moral. Not what's good. No, that's not reality. Reality is very simple. That which already happened. It will never not have happened. I don't care how wrong you think it is. It will never not have happened because it happened. Can you handle it? And so you start with that definition of reality and you start saying, can I handle the things that are unfolding in front of me? No. Can you learn to? Yes. You can learn to, just like you learn math, just like you learn anything, just like you learn piano. You learn all kinds of things, don't you? Okay. And you enjoy learning. Enjoy learning this. Because it's the most important thing you will ever learn in your entire life. It's the meaning of your life. You were dropped down to the planet Earth to handle it. It was not a punishment. There's all kinds of things going on Earth. If you can handle them, it's exciting. It's unbelievable. There's so much to do. There's so much to help. There's so much to give. There's so much to participate in. Go to the other planets. There's nothing. We have the Hubble telescope. We have the James Webb telescope. They can see so far, can't they? We have never seen anything but dirt and rocks and fire. Is that what's going on in front of you every day? Not even close. You have people and computers and sky and things and food and, oh my God, there's so much. It's unbelievable. We've never seen one iota of a sign of life. Not one, not a protozoa, not an amoeba, not one single sign of life anywhere that we have sent probes and we went all over and looked at with telescopes. You have trouble seeing signs of life around here? That's all there is. It's teeming with life, all the trees and all the grass and all the bugs and every single thing and all the people. My God, and all you do is complain. It's true, because you can't handle reality. So what your life is about, Earth is a place that souls are sent to evolve. Earth is a place that consciousness drops down to learn to handle things. And so how do you do that? You start with the simplest things in your life. the heat, the weather, the car, the driver in front of you. You know that driver bothers you. The fact that this happens, this tiny little, the fact that it's raining and you want to go outside. But you let yourself do that, don't you? You let yourself get upset because I wanted to go camping and it's raining. Why does it have to rain on my birthday? It doesn't know it's your birthday. You did that. There's just this constant sense of what I like and what I don't, and why does it have to happen, and all that kind of stuff. Well, you'll never be okay. So spirituality starts when you sit there and say, I want to learn to handle reality. So start handling it. The driver in front of you doesn't use his blinker. Nice blinker, buddy. He didn't hear you. She didn't hear you. You just made yourself upset for absolutely no reason. The car didn't use its blinker, and you're upset. The car is going 5 miles an hour below the speed limit, and you're in a rush. You get uptight, don't you? The traffic lights, 3 in a row, turned red. If you're like me, you don't like that. And I tell you the truth, this is where spirituality takes place. You sit there and look at that and say, that's ridiculous. What, that the lights turned red? That the guy didn't use his blinker? No, that I can't handle, that I'm driving behind a driver who, for whatever reason, is driving slower than the speed limit. And I can't pass him. I keep pulling out, almost getting killed. Well, what are you doing? I'm not handling reality. Like, you do that, and then 3 blocks later, the guy turns. You cause yourself angst. You cause yourself to get upset about absolutely nothing, right? These things are nothing. Remember I said 1.3 million Earths inside the sun? And you're sitting there getting uptight. I mean, the fact that there's such a thing as a blinker, that there's such a thing as a car. Like on Mars, they had those rovers. 2 or 3 of them. You all looked at them and got their names. What's he doing today? Oh, he's digging up a little piece. You got rovers all over the place on Earth. Millions of them right in front of you. And so you start enjoying the little things in life that used to bother you. How do you do that? Now we get right down to it. You can do things like this. The driver's driving in front of you, or it's hot, and she complains, and you're complaining. That's your nature. You taught her to do that. The lower vibration rates capture your consciousness. Okay, so positive thinking. There's nothing wrong with positive thinking. In the end, you don't need it because you're positive. But as a path, it's a beautiful thing. So when you're sitting there, like I just gave you positive thinking about the heat. I do it all the time. I don't have to try. It really happens. I stand there. It's so hot. I get in a parking lot. I get out of my car. It's like, oh my God. I just feel like, wow, that is a star shining on me. And I want to stand there and feel it. I want to feel what it's like to be close to a star. And who doesn't like stars? Which one of you don't like stars? There's a star. You are welcome to look at it that way. Then all of a sudden the heat's a beautiful thing. It's an amazing thing, all right? And you do the same thing with the driver in front of you. See, I'm complaining, just stop. Shh, stop for a moment. That's your grandmother, and she's in her last year that she'll be able to drive before they take her license away. And she gets to be independent, and you're tailgating her, and you want to beep. Well, maybe not. Okay, Grandma. I love it. I'll help you. All of a sudden, you feel your heart open instead of close and get tight. These are your techniques. People give you techniques, all kinds of techniques. They're all wonderful if you use them for the right reason. Meditation is wonderful if you learn that you can handle. In meditation, maybe you go deep. It's nice. Well, the world's still messed up. You just manage to find a place within yourself that you're not making yourself be messed up. But the moment you come back, oh my God, how long does it take for they come back for deep meditation before you're all screwed up again? One phone call, one person this, one this, a little piece of dirt, a bug running across the floor. You hear me? Pay attention. What it's about is saying, I want to learn to handle reality. So you start doing it. You can use positive thinking. You can use breathe a little bit, whatever you want. I don't teach those kind of techniques. Why everybody else does. What I'm teaching you is why you would use them. You're in this game to handle the moments that are unfolding in front of you. All right? So basically, you understand that your job, is your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to honor and respect that things will unfold in front of you. If you can't handle them, they're for your growth. If you can handle them, serve. It's wonderful. Be a light in the darkness. But now we get to some bigger stuff. So you start with the sun, start with the rain, start with in general, the weather. Why? You have no control over the weather. Handle it. Now you start by saying, okay, again, wait, the wind, it messes up my hair. All right, the humidity makes it frizzy, right? Shh. Can you handle it? Can you handle that there's such a thing as wind and humidity and rain and snow and heat and cold? Aren't there such a thing as that? Can you learn to handle those? How? Relax when they're happening. Be positive about them. Like when it's raining and you wanted to go camping, say, wow, Publix will have fresh produce tomorrow. You're welcome to change the level of how you interact with things. And positive thinking is a really, really good way to do that. So now let's get a little more serious. What if something happens and it scares me? I think I did something, I don't want to get fired, or I said something and I don't think the person will like me and I can't sleep at night. Oh, okay, now we're getting interesting. Yes, it can happen, can it? Okay, now that you can handle the weather, now that you can handle the driver in front of you, can you handle that things happen? Things do happen. And guess what? You make them way worse. Do you know how many things you worried about never happened? I wish you could keep track. How many things you were afraid were going to happen throughout your life that never happened? I guarantee you the vast majority of them. But if one happens, it gives right to have to worry about all the rest. Don't give yourself that right. Work with yourself. Raise yourself. Raise yourself. Again, the Gita, one should raise the self with self, not trample down the self. For self, which is self's friend, can be self's enemy. It's talking about the higher self. You in there? We've been talking to you, right? Raise your lower self. Don't trample it down. Don't yell at it. Don't push it away. Don't hate it. For self, which can be self's friend, can become self's foe. Okay? And so you start to work with yourself. One way to do this. There's so many ways to do this. As I've grown, I used to fight with him. My God, I came up in Zen when I started, right? That's serious stuff, all right? I thought you're supposed to beat him up till he goes away. And I've learned not. And you finally get to the point where you understand, wait a minute, I shoved him down there. I created that monster by suppressing every single thing that ever bothered me inside. So he's bothered. So I can spend my life yelling at him. I can spend my life trying to protect him. I can spend my life trying to make sure you guys don't do anything that bothers him. Or I can wake up and realize, my God, what have I done? I locked the child in the closet. So of course they're screwed up. I need to open the closet door and I need to help him. I need to raise him. I need to take him by the hand. I used to take him by the hand and take him out into the universe so he could see all the galaxies. And they said, wow, this is better than being locked in a closet, right? Thank you. Take him with you. Let's say you're going out to meet somebody and you're nervous, a date or this or that or a job, and you get nervous. Don't try to be strong. Don't try to say, I'm not nervous. Right? You're just pushing it down. Reach down, make me cry. Reach down there and help her. Tell her it's okay. Be her mother. It's okay. I'm with you. It's okay. We can do this. And lift her up. All right? And don't care what happens. Tell her what matters is that you do it, not the result of what happens. If you go to get an interview and you're a little stronger, you can handle it, and you don't get the job, you already won. It's not about getting the job. People get and lose jobs. It's about, did you handle it? Did you handle the situation you're going through so it didn't leave marks and scars and garbage inside of you? That's spiritual growth. Raise yourself. Raise yourself. And eventually what happens, and we'll close up, you're going to be shocked to see what happens. You're going to stop being so scared. Why? Because you didn't set criteria for yourself saying, if you don't get the job, you're nothing, you're dirt, and other people get the job, look at you, you're not worth it. What are you doing? You sit there and say, did you go to the interview? Yes. Did you manage to be open and clear and enjoy yourself with the interview? Did you enjoy talking to the interviewer? Just another person on planet Earth. There's 8.3 billion of them. You get to meet one. Wasn't that nice? Yes, I did all that. You didn't get the job. So what? That means I get to meet another interviewer. It'll be fun. Have fun. Don't set these things for yourself that make you feel guilty or guilty. There's no failure. Failure is the inability to handle reality. Success is the ability to handle reality. I got into a relationship. It seemed really good. I was very open. I learned a lot from that. And now she left or he left. What does it feel like? It hurts. It feels like my heart's being ripped apart. Can you handle that? No. Okay, fine. Then it'll screw you up for the rest of your life. Can you handle that? Yes. Yes, I didn't used to be able to. In high school, junior high, now I've been through 6 divorces, and I'm getting pretty good at it. It's like tennis. It doesn't go to the net anymore. Wow. Learn. There's nothing wrong with learning. That's what you're here for. There is no failure. There's just, are you willing to try to raise yourself, lift yourself, and go through different situations, more open, and so on. And then what comes back, if you do the best that you can at anything, I don't care what it is, you do the best that you can, what comes back is holy. If I'm going on a date with you and I'm nervous because I don't do good with dates and so on, but I pick myself out and just do the best that I can to not be weird, which is very hard. I do the best that I can, okay? And then what comes back is you don't want to see me again, all right? No, it's okay. I look at that. Did you do the best that you could? Yes. That means you'll do better next time. You learned something. The result is not what matters. What matters is your ability to do the best you can when you're doing it, and your ability to honor and respect what comes back. It's your teacher. What comes back from the best that you can is holy. You're here to learn. And go on, have a tennis teacher that every time you hit into the net yells at you. You ain't going to get any better. It has to be, wow, okay, this is what you're doing. Turn your wrist this way this time. It has to raise you, work with you. We'll do that with yourself constantly, with everything. And what's going to happen, and we'll close up, what's going to happen is you're going to get better. At what? At handling reality. Why? Because you practiced. Just like you practice the piano. You practice the piano, do the scales, you'll get better. You may not be a great pianist, but you will get better. You practice this, you will get better. What does it mean to get better at handling things? Wow, now you did something really good. You invested really good, right? It means I can handle things. It means I can be happy, and then something happened, I can stay happy. Boss calls me in, I want to see you tomorrow. I don't have to lose sleep all night. I get to see the boss tomorrow. Well, what happens? I don't care. I couldn't care less. What I care about is I can handle the situation that I'm going to go see the boss tomorrow. That's what I'm here on earth for. I'm not here to have the boss do this or do that. That comes and goes. This is permanent, the changes you make upon yourself by handling things. And then what happens is, because you can handle it, you're not afraid of it. Whoa, wouldn't that be fun? Now all of a sudden I can walk around and not be afraid. Well, that's neat. Well, what do you feel instead of fear? Love. Why? Because that's what's under there. That's who you are. If you don't get pulled down to the garbage, you are love. You are filled with joy and Shakti. There's so much energy flowing inside of you, you couldn't handle it until you learn to. Literally, waves of ecstasy pour through your being day and night. Just wave your hand, boom, it's flying up inside of you. All your chakras open. It's like you're a great being. You're a being of tremendous light, tremendous love, tremendous joy, filled with Shakti. You don't have to do anything. It's who you are. You don't have to do anything about it. It will raise everybody. They can't help it. It raises the vibration rate of Earth. That's what happens when you stop being drawn down because you can't handle the different vibrations of life. Will you work with these things? Every day of your life, every minute is the opportunity to go to God. And you just work with that and wait till you see what happens. You become a being of great gift, a blessing on the earth. All right. Work on these things. Jagrata.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.